friend, and welcome back to another episode of Cutting Through It. You know, every once in a while, I'll get asked by another hairstylist, what would I do if I had to start all over again? And honestly, after rebuilding my clientele more than once throughout my career, I've thought about that question quite a bit. And you know what? If I had to pick up my scissors and move, I wouldn't start with social media. I wouldn't start with fancy marketing. And I definitely wouldn't be trying to get everyone into my chair. I would start with 3 things that made all the difference in my career. Things that helped me rebuild my business and create a loyal and awesome clientele. And it's just these 3 things, getting clear on, is what helped me build a career working behind the chair that I genuinely love to do. I can never say that word right, but I do. I genuinely love doing my craft. So if you've ever wondered what you should be focusing on right now to build a strong foundation for your business working behind the chair so that you can genuinely love your job as well, then I think you're really going to enjoy today's conversation. Let's get into it. Hey there, and welcome to Cutting Through It. I'm Sherry Brody, and after more than 40 years working behind the chair, rebuilding my business multiple times, making plenty of mistakes, and learning some hard lessons along the way, I've discovered what really works when it comes to building a successful business working behind the chair. That's what this podcast is all about. This is where I share those lessons with you. All my stories, my successes, my failures, and the things, most of all, that I wish someone had taught me when I was starting out. My hope is that what I've learned can help you avoid some of the struggles I faced, build your business a little faster, and create a career behind the chair that you truly love. So if you're ready to learn from my successes, my mistakes, and everything in between, you're in the right place, my friend. Let's dive in. So let's talk about that. What would I do if I had to rebuild my business from scratch again? The first thing is I'll tell you what I wouldn't do. I wouldn't just start posting anything on my social media. I wouldn't just, kind of take any client that came through the door, because I've had to rebuild my business multiple times. And because of that, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot mostly about what we as hairstylists, the big mistakes that we make that lead us into this place of not being happy with our job. In fact, statistics show that hairstylists within 2 years leave the industry. And why do they leave the industry? They leave the industry because they get burnt out. They're burnt out. They're tired. They're not making any money. And I really feel like the reason for this is that a lot of hairstylists, they don't start out with a plan. For instance, I know I've done this myself. I mean, we as hairstylists, a lot of times we will just pick the first salon that will hire us. Or maybe we pick a salon that we really want to be in. And once we get there, we realize it wasn't quite a fit. Another mistake is that we'll take every client. Any client that books, you're going to take it. And on top of that, because we need to make money and we're worried about our bills, then we're going to work every hour. Even though, hey, you know what? I only work 2 nights a week. I work during the days the other days, but hey, this client can't come in except now, so I'm going to stay late, or I'm going to come in early, or I'm going to skip my daughter's soccer practice because I'm more worried about money and I've got to get this client in. I don't want to lose this client. So what happens is, and guys, when I talk about this, it's not because I'm condemning you or making any hairstylist feel bad. It's because I've lived it. I'm sharing what I've lived and what I've done and what I've learned. And I share it because I know that you as a hairstylist, wherever you're at right now, either you're rebuilding or you're starting out fresh, that you don't have to spend years reacting instead of intentionally building your business. And I just want to say that one more time. I feel like the reason The statistics are so high that hairstylists are leaving the industry after a few years in the industry is because there is no plan in place. They're not looking at their chair as a business. They're just reacting. When I talk about, working all hours, taking any client, working in a salon environment that is not joyful for you, that's not intentionally building your business. And the symptoms of this, what happens when we are in this cycle of that, is that this is where we end up becoming burnout. I mean, it just drains you. There's a time in my career where I was working. I was so excited. I moved back to Phoenix a few times in my career. And this happened to be a time where I'd only been doing hair about, I want to say 3 or 4 years. And my husband at the time was in the service. So we had moved back to Phoenix. And while he was in the service, I had the blessing of being able to work in a salon where I got mentored, an apprentice position, by 2 wonderful guys in Missouri, of all places, a small town in Missouri. They took me under their wing and taught me a lot about business. And before that, I had worked at, I'd only been in the business for maybe a year when I met them, and I was at Supercuts. I was young and green, and I was so blessed to meet these guys. Well, when we left Missouri and moved back to Phoenix, I wanted to work in a really hip salon, and there was a salon out here. At the time, it was called Youngblood. If anybody is listening to this, that was here at that time. And it was the happening salon, and I wanted to work there. So I applied. I got a job there, and it wasn't but a couple months in, I was like so unhappy. I mean, this was a very competitive environment. I was not skilled in a lot of things that I was getting booked with. I almost quit. I almost quit the industry because I lost so much confidence there. But I did. I also, at the time though, let's see, how should I say this? Because this is public, but I got stronger. I was super naive and super nice. And in this salon, I learned how to get tougher. Tougher, does that sound right? I had to learn to be stronger. How's that? I had to be stronger. I learned how to stand up for myself. I learned how to, just be a stronger person. And I got to work around a lot of very, very talented hairstylists. And it was there that, I learned just a lot of good stuff. I don't want to sit there in this story, but I just wanted to share that with you because I was there and I was only a few years into the industry. And I almost quit because I wasn't enjoying my job. And honestly, I wasn't enjoying my job because I was saying yes to everything because I needed the money. And what I learned there was that most hairstylists, we're not stuck because we're lacking of talent. We're stuck because we're trying to skip stages. And what I mean by that is, yes, I dreamed about working in a salon like Youngblood, but I was nowhere near the talent, the life experience to be working there. And I think that's one of the biggest things. I think we as hairstylists, we see another hairstylist, we see they have a big waiting list, we see they're doing premium pricing, and we see that they're just working in a dream salon that you're dreaming about. And you think to yourself, I should be there too. But what happens is, guys, is that you've got to be able to see the journey that stylist was on that got them to where they were. Sometimes the salon that you're dreaming about isn't the salon that you need right now. Just like for me, that salon, Youngblood, it was absolutely not what I needed at the time. Even though I walked away learning a lot of lessons, it was tough. Sometimes the services that you want to do, they're services you haven't mastered yet. At that salon that I worked at, I remember when I went to school in 83. I've had tons of education since then, but we weren't taught foiling at the time. And so when I was here at Youngblood, there was a gal there that, oh my gosh, she did the most beautiful highlights. And I'd watch her all the time. And I really wanted to learn it. And a walk-in came in and she wanted highlights. And this stylist said, "Oh, Sherry, you could do it." Well, I had never done a foil highlights, not even on a mannequin head. So what did I do? I did a service I had no idea I wasn't even ready for on a brand new client. It was horrendous for me. Honestly, guys, the results were horrendous. Bleed marks everywhere. But what I'm talking about, the point that I'm talking to is that I was in my head the entire time. I mean, the whole time I couldn't even focus on my client. Could she feel it? Of course she could feel it. I was just trying to get through the service. And it left me so deflated. And I think that happens a lot when we are doing, we dream about becoming an extension specialist or color specialist, and we start to take clients that we're not ready for. And in essence, the client doesn't return, or you have a redo, or even looking at it, we as a professional, we know what it should look like. And there's nothing that hurts our ego more than to just look at our work when we're finished and just be so unhappy with it. And just a little side note, that client, crazy as it is, she clicked with me and she liked me and she became a client of mine for probably a good year or so. I don't know. It's been so long, but I don't know what was wrong with her, but she stayed with me. She stayed with me because we clicked. It brings me to the other issue that makes hairstylists get so burnt out and leave the industry is that the clients that you want to work on, have you thought about that? Because a lot of times we're working on clients that we don't click with. I was lucky that client and I clicked. But when we're just taking any client and not putting any thought to who we really want to work on, what type of client, what is she like, guy or girl, whatever it is, if we don't take time to really think about that and we take any client, then that can lead to unhappiness and burnout too, because there's nothing worse than working on a client that you do not click with. I had a client at one point, you probably, if you've listened to any of my episodes, I share the stories, but there's even recently, I've had a client sit in my chair and totally wasn't my vibe. She didn't realize it. I did. I did not enjoy her personality, and she wanted to rebook, and I just knew, because I have been doing this so long, I knew she wasn't a fit. And so I told her that I wasn't going to be rebooking her, that I just don't think we're a fit. She was kind of shocked, but I recommended her to another stylist in the salon that I knew she would be a good fit to. Would I have done this earlier on in my career? No. There was many clients I did that I did not click with. And that is why I have this podcast. That is why I'm sharing this with you, because you do, when you have a clear structure and plan for your business, then you start to learn to set boundaries in your business because you're looking at it as your business, not just doing hair. Something else I want to point out to you too is that sometimes the clients that you're envisioning, you may not be ready to attract yet, and that's okay. I want to tell you this one more time, that every successful hairstylist goes through stages. The goal that I'm trying to tell you is that you don't want to skip the journey. The goal is to understand where you are so that you can focus on your next step. So the 3 things that I would do first if I were rebuilding, and that would be number 1, I would think about, who do I want in my chair? So when I said I wouldn't be posting on social media and stuff, I wouldn't do that yet, because what I would do, and what I want to encourage you to do, is, if you're in that place, is to think about, which clients do you love seeing? Like right now in your business, which ones do you love seeing? Think about it, write their names down, and think about what it is about them that you like. You might find something common. Which clients that you energize you? What type of people energize you? And most importantly, what clients drain you? Or even just people. Maybe you're just starting out and you don't have a whole lot of experience. Think about what type of personalities drain you. And then look to see what clients you have in common. Okay? When I was rebuilding my business here in Phoenix, I knew that I wanted a client. They loved shopping at Nordstrom and Dillard's. They loved the boutiques. They loved coffee shops. She loved to have precision haircuts and she liked to dress trendy. Her kids were older in college, or she was just a single woman, a businesswoman that is nearing retirement. I mean, I could go on and on, but because I had an idea in my head of who I wanted to work on, then when I would post on social media, which if you guys want to learn what I did, I will post a link in my show notes to a couple episodes that I did talk about it. I know the very first episode, I do share a little bit about that journey. I'd encourage you to listen to it if you're curious about that. But I did things that I knew she would want to learn or see. And so that's how, before I did social media, that's what I would do first. The second thing is that what environment, I thought to myself, what environment do I need to thrive? Meaning, what kind of environment do I want to work in? And you need to ask yourself that too. Here's some questions. What kind of salon fits where you are right now? Right now. Maybe you want to work in a salon like Youngblood that's hip and happening. But are you ready? Are your skills ready? Do you need to find a salon that has a training program? Do you need mentorship? Do you need the education? Do you need structure? If you are somebody that's, thinking about going into a salon suite, you really need to be thinking about this because it's a big deal. Maybe you are ready to go independent because you're an independent person. I don't know. But the salon you're meant to be in 5 years from now may not be the salon you need today. So that's just something to think about. So these are things that I hope that you're starting to get it, that before you start doing the things that you need to do, which you got to market yourself. And number two, you got to find a salon to work in. You got to know who you are, right? You got to figure out, you got to think about these things instead of just jumping in and being impulsive. And that's me. I made many decisions in my life where I made a decision and then I was like, oh my gosh, what did I do that for? If I would have thought more about it, I would never have made that decision. And the third decision that I would make before I did anything else was, I think to myself, what services do I want to be known for? Now for me, for instance, haircutting is my passion. Haircutting has been the easiest way for me to get clients in my chair. Do I do all services? Absolutely. I've done it all. I love color. I loved extensions. I did a lot of wedding hair. Love doing hairdressing. But haircutting, that was what I wanted to be known for. And so what I want to pose some questions for you to ask yourself is, what services do you love to do? Which ones do you enjoy doing? And then which ones are you good at today? You don't want to be trying to do something that you're not experienced at. That doesn't mean that you can't do it in the future. When haircutting wasn't something that I came out in the industry and thought, oh, I want to be a precision hair cutter. I want to be known for that. That didn't happen. That happened because of life. I found myself becoming a single mom. I was desperate. I needed to get clients in my chair and everybody needed a haircut. So I got the education. And I became solid. I became good at it. And eventually I just fell in love with it because once I really understood it, then I was able to be creative. And then it became my passion and it's what I became known for. And it's become the easiest way for me to get clients in my chair. And clients can feel it when you're passionate about something. But just like at the story when I was working at Youngblood, I wanted to really learn how to do highlighting. I really wanted to be good at that. But I should never have taken a client with that until I became educated and experienced on it. So that's what I want to make sure that that hits home today. What do you want to be known for, but what are you good at today? Because then you go back to when you're trying to market yourself and doing all the things to get the clients in your chair, then you have more control over it because you're not just reacting to things, you're taking control of things. Because you're clear on some things. You're clear on who you want to work on. You're clear on where you want to work. And you're clear on what kind of services you want to be known for. And then you know what happens? You make better decisions. You stop reacting to things. The things like working overtime, taking any client, the things that lead you to burnout. And you start building that business behind the chair that's intentional. So I want to leave you with this question. Are you frustrated right now because you're stuck? Or are you frustrated because you're expecting yourself to be further along than you actually are? I don't know where you're at on your journey, but what I do know is what it feels like to feel frustrated and to feel stuck. And that's exactly why I'm hosting the Fully Booked Chair Workshop. In the workshop, I'm going to walk you through the 5 stages that every single hairstylist goes through on their journey to building predictable income and a loyal clientele. My hope is that you will leave the workshop knowing exactly where you are at on your journey and understand and get clarity on what's keeping you stuck and, most importantly, what you need to focus on next. I would love for you to be a part of it. I'm hosting it on June 22nd, 12 p.m. Arizona time. The link will be in the show notes below, but if you visit my website, onpointhairbysherry, SHERRI.com, the link is right there at the top of the page. I hope to see you there. I hope this episode blessed you. I hope it encouraged you. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. I hope this episode encouraged you today and reminded you that you're not alone behind the chair. And if it helped you, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with another hairstylist who may need encouragement too. And remember, success behind the chair is built one client, one conversation, and one day at a time. I'll see you guys in the next episode.